Okay, so good morning from Capristo Farm. This morning we came out here a lot earlier. It's already midday. Dog enjoying the sun. Came out and set up another row of, well, we finished planting the winter squash under here because we didn't have quite enough of the watermelons, and the watermelons and the pumpkins have the whole idea of you plant about 4 or 5 of them into the same spot every 5 foot. So we tried doing that with some of the winter squash that we've got here. And then we did a full row under this section, which largely has Black Beauty summer squash. And then we actually found some starters for another couple of winter squashes, so we put them in the middle as well. And then Tammy got a whole lot of her flowers in. We got the rest of this row of bush beans done and had them all the way down to the very end, nice and sorted. And then Tammy's out there at the moment putting in peas on this line, this first line here that has the green posts. This afternoon I'll finish putting up the top supports and then we'll get the trellis going. The second row of posts here is for another row of peas that'll go in, and that will be using this 6-foot wire fence because we don't have enough of the plastic trellis. My main mission for the day is creating a wooden A-frame length that covers both of these 2 rows because they will be pole beans. So I've got a whole lot of this wood cut already. I'm going to attach them all at the top and then come through, stand them up, put a nice big beam right down the middle, and that way we can hang 2 trellis sections, one down each side, and that way we'll have 2 rows of pole beans all on the same structure. So I went and cut down some more trees, got all the lengths of 10-foot pieces all organized yesterday. And today I'll be using rope to attach them, and then I'll go and find some nice thin trees to use as the sections to hold the tops together. So hopefully I'll be able to get this done today, and we will be able to plant pole beans tomorrow morning because they are starting to stretch a little bit and really wanting to get somewhere nice and safe and organized. Storm Lakes peas. Storm likes how much they crunch. Remember she was picking them off the actual vines last year? Cruising down the pea line, just chomping away. Funny dog. Right, so that's the first 2 frames. I'm going to do one every 10 foot. So I'll have a whole lot of these all the way down to the very end. And then I'll set up a full one at the far end, so that way as I come back along the row, all I have to do is stand these guys up and connect the further end onto the top of the A-frame in front of it. So I'm just going to get to work putting a whole lot more of these together, and then once they're all in place it should be fairly straightforward, fingers crossed, to lift them all up and put them in place. And then after that it'll just be a case of running along it to put up the mesh and the trellis. Fun times. Moving along. Just a couple more and I'll be able to start standing this whole thing up. Right, so started putting them up, not screwing them into place just yet, but getting things a little bit figured out. Obviously the first one was kind of a pain to get going because, well, it's a lot taller than I was actually planning on doing. But that's okay, these things happen. If I need to, I can go and chop the legs down a little bit. But 3 up, 70 foot to go. Right, so it is all constructed. I got everything screwed in place and the supports to stop it wobbling so far. And yeah, it's looking good. Got all the matting down and we'll be planting the green beans in the morning. Pretty stoked with how it's finished. It is actually a lot taller than anticipated, but we'll put the plastic netting on it and see how it looks. There we go, first layer of mesh on. Getting a little late though, so we'll have to do the second row tomorrow. There we go, all finished. Nice big A-frame with netting on both sides with a whole lot of green beans. Once they're a little bit more settled, I'll actually go and string them up onto the netting, but after the transplanting, I'm going to let them settle for a couple days and then help them up onto the netting. But there we go, all set. Fun times. We'll have to do the netting for the peas off to that side next.